Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. So, a very interesting episode, many different parts, moving together all at once. Let's start off with the whole Ray situation. Basically, still paying off Sonia, the art. Well, she's the quote-unquote art lady, but she's selling drugs and stuff like that. Obviously, the whole shady business deal she also does at the same time. He's paying her off, but the fact is he can't keep paying her forever, especially because he's running low on money. He's trying to get the money together. He's trying to get his money lady, the lady who launders his money, Harriet, to get it to him, but it's just like it's going to take a long while. So he has to find different circumstances around it. Obviously, like, let's skip all this bull crap and just kill her, because basically his plan, because he still needs to get Belikov, the Russian dude, out. But he doesn't know how to go about it, because that's the other side of the deal, to get his family okay, because her business deals are on hold, and because Belikov is her partner in that. So if he's not out, it halts her business. The whole point, that's why Ray's paying her in the first place, because as long as he's in jail, Ray has to keep paying her to compensate for the money that she has, the income she's lost. So, he tries to find ways to get to a DA. But I love Lena in this episode because she's just bored out of her mind. She's like, this isn't going to get us anywhere. And then when Ray's like, I need you to do something, she's like, what is it, Ray? What? Do anything. Just tell me. I'll do anything, Ray. Just as long as I don't have to basically do this crap. She's just tired of looking at this dude. And he ended up blackmailing some guy. It was basically, he went over to Deborah's house, which is interesting because she even brought it up. Like, we haven't seen Deborah since Ezra's funeral at the beginning of last season. That was the last time when she kicked him out. She's like, I shouldn't have done that. He's like, no, yeah, right, too. Basically, he's only showing up because he needs to be there. It's just like, you don't ever damn it change. And it's like, oh, you and Ezra and your secrets. Basically, it's a tape of a well-known actor or whatever. Because Avi brought it up. It's like, oh, that certain movie of his. And Ray was just like, shut the fuck up. But essentially, the guy had murdered his wife by accident, and Ezra helped him cover it up. But Ezra was like, oh, don't worry, this is never going to come back to haunt you. But he had taped everything. So the guy was there doing what Ray was asking him to. Ray wanted the guy to be like, okay, get Belikov out. He wanted to make this old guy actor talk to the DA. But instead, the old guy confessed just because, I don't know whether, I guess being reminded of what he did just finally made him crack. He just couldn't take the guilt anymore. He probably been living with it for so long, but now it came, to hear him, even if it's just himself, still hearing it out loud and not just in his head, just brought it all back. And so I guess he felt like turning himself in. So that screwed Ray over in that department. And then Ray was talking about the $4 million because Mickey's back in town, which I'm gonna get to him soon enough. But the fact is, the moment it came up, I was like, okay, you're gonna rob the $4 million. You're gonna use that to pay off Sonia. I wasn't sure, but then at one point he was like, okay, Avi, we'll kill her. But then came across that girl on a skateboard and she had FBI on her back. The moment that popped up, I was like, I know exactly who you're going to. Then I couldn't remember his name. I actually had to look it up after the episode was done. But Ed Cochran, played by Hank Azaria, is that it? Yeah. I just knew he'd be the FBI, he'd be the person he'd go to, and of course that is. He ended up, the last time we saw him was last season during the whole Finney situation. I think it was like when Ray shot him in the leg. It's the last time we saw him. So I was like, of course, he's going to be hesitant to help Ray, especially because Ray screwed him over in season 2 and then screwed him over again in season 3. So, he has plenty of reason to hate Ray, but he's like, I'll help you out if you get me $2 million. And he also had Ray get in front of a crowd and sing, which Ray did a pretty good job at it. So I was like, kind of surprised. I mean, he started off a little low because he's just, I can't believe I'm doing this degrading crap, and he really got into it. So, but I really like the fact, I knew, I was like, okay, now that he's bringing it, like the moment he mentioned $5 million, I was like, okay, you're going to get him to bring it down, aren't you? And he did. He did $2 million. I was like, okay, you're going to work with your dad on this. So I was like, he's trying to remedy the whole situation. So that was his only way of working around. I didn't know what he was going to do. I thought, okay, is he going to try and screw over Sonia and try and get Ed to help him take her down? I don't know. That might end up being the end goal when everything's said and done. Maybe things don't work out. Like, once it's all said and done, maybe things don't 100% work out the way Ray wants him to. Maybe Sonia kind of keeps him underneath her thumb, so he works with Ed to kind of take her down, kind of at the same time getting rid of his own enemy. He's also helping Ed kind of restore his career or something like that. I don't know. Just possible theory. But that was what I really liked. The fact of the matter is, it's like even Mickey, when like Ray was like, okay, let me hear about the job. Even Ray's like, there must be, and you have to believe in God. Now he's like, his lifelong dream is for him to Ray. Like out of any of his kids, he's always wanted to be closer to Ray. That's probably, I think, out of any, that's kind of like him and Ray have always had been the most distant out of anyone. That's the closest to him. I'd probably say Bunchy. Next to that would be Terry. Terry probably hates Mickey just as much as Ray does, but I still think Ray hates him way. There's still a huge gap of hate between Terry's hate for their dad as compared to Ray's hate for their dad. So, but I liked just Mickey was just like, whoa, this is like, I can't believe this is happening. This is like a dream come true. I mean, because that showed you just how desperate Ray is. Because, like I said, he hates his dad, but for him to be willing to work with his dad, he's backed into a corner, and that's the only way he can see out. It's the only way he can ensure his family's safety. So it's kind of interesting. I'm going to be Mickey usually messes everything up because he's a bit of an idiot. Ray even calls him out for saying, like, yeah. Because he was asking everyone first. He asked Daryl. Daryl's, like, smartened up to his scheme. It's like, no, I'm not about to get involved. He's not even going to dare ask Terry, but he's asking Bunchy because out of anyone, Bunchy, like, is the closest to their dad. He doesn't see the kind of quote-unquote fuck up their dad is. He doesn't see that as much as everyone else does. Everyone else is like, stay away from Mickey, he's bad news, but Bunchy wants to give him chances over and over again, especially, now that he's a grandfather, too, so... But getting back to it, like, because Bunchy's like, oh, I'm going to help him out, and Ray's like, go to bed, like, stay out of this. You got a family to think about now, and it's just like, it's kind of like, screw you, Ray. I'm a grown. Like, I love that's the thing about Bunchy. He's always being like, yo, I'm a grown up. You don't get to tell me what to do. But Ray kind of bosses him around, like, ever since they were little. I mean, because Ray's always looked out for his best interest, because that's what he's doing. Like, Ray's only willing to help him out because he has no other choice, and because he also knows if he doesn't, Mickey's just going to convince Bunchy to help him, and it's going to end up getting him screwed over. He just got a little girl who he named Maria, interestingly enough, is their mom. Which, that's also a side note, I think I'm going to get to in a little bit. But yeah, that was just kind of interesting. And so I feel like out of anything, it will work a lot better now, because you got Ray, and not just Ray, you've got Avi as well as Lena at his disposal to kind of help him out. It's going to be very interesting, because this is our first time really seeing them actually 100% working together on something. Other times it's kind of like them screwing each other over. So it's like, I don't know, two opposite sides of the spectrum finally coming together. Even though Ray's a lot more like his dad than he'd ever want to admit. He'd probably punch somebody in the face for ever saying he's a lot like his dad. But they share certain aspects of their personalities are somewhat similar. But what I was going to get to is the fact is of bringing up Marie, their mom. I'd always heard that it was always brought up like their mom died, she was sick. I don't know if did they ever bring it up specifically that was cancer, because that is something that never occurred to me, because I don't think they have, but maybe they did and I just don't remember. But that's one extra reason why he's like pushing for Abby to be like, no. Obviously it's because he loves her and he doesn't want to see her die, because he even says that to her later on in the episode. But it's also like his mom went through the same thing. She's like, it's not the same thing with your mom. But he's just like, are you sure this is what you want to do? She's basically saying, like, I don't want to go through it because it's nothing. Basically, she's in a phase of, like, denial. As long as she denies it, it's going to be okay. Like, it doesn't exist as long as I keep denying it. Like, accepting it is what makes it real. Like, I think in her mind, and, it's understandable because she's scared out of her mind. She's been scared this entire time. But I think now that she's told Ray, she just wants to kind of keep up a strong front, and she doesn't want to she doesn't want him to see her scared. I think that's what it came down to. I mean, that's how I see it. But, yeah, going really back, I'm backtracking on a lot of stuff. Bunchy and Teresa, once again, it kind of seems like the honeymoon is almost over because they're not clicking. It's very interesting because it's like their relationship started because they kind of got caught up in the heat of the moment. Even Ray told him multiple times, like, yo, you should take a step back and think this through. But Bunchy was like, no, I'm an adult. Shut up. Stop trying to tell me what to do. We're in love. We're going to do this. And it's like, hey, yeah, I mean, we see that you love each other, but you have some serious problems that you have to kind of work around, because the fact of the matter is, Bunchy was like, yo, making Ray and Abby Maria's godparents. And you see Teresa kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And you see Terry kind of got upset, which, is understandable. Like, Terry understands. It's like, yo, I'm single. I'm really not in a stable position. I've got freaking Parkinson's. I'm not ideal for taking care of a kid, but I think he would have appreciated the offer to begin with. But, it's just because Ray's got experience raising children. He's got a wife, got a home, like if anything ever happened to them. But Teresa didn't appreciate that. She's like, "What are you doing? You invite your dad back here. I don't trust him. Plus like Ray, let's not forget what happened before our baby was born. Someone got shot in Ray's house, and you think I'm gonna let our baby be raised in that house? Are you out your damn mind?" So basically, she's like, she wants to move back and be closer to her family. So I don't know whether she meant like in this particular episode, she was like, "I'm going to go stay with my family a little bit," which I don't know, because that was kind of last time we saw her in the episode. But like I said, it's kind of interesting seeing the kind of honeymoon phase over. It's kind of like you always see kind of the ups and downs of the relationship, which I mean, it's a true relationship. Everything's not all like honky dory in every relationship. Every relationship has a struggle. So we kind of get to see that. And I think Bunchy's never really dealt with that, because Bunchy's never been in a long-term relationship. We've only seen him be in one relationship prior to Teresa, and that kind of fizzled out when he told her, when, he had his complications about what happened to him, and he was worried, like, "Oh, I'm going to do that to her son," on, some psychological level. He was worried about that. Plus, things didn't work out when he finally told her. Like, he had the courage to tell her the truth, but she was still like, "I can't let you be around my son when you're so unsure of that particular relationship." So, what I really... It's just very interesting. I'm curious to see where where their story goes in all of this. Like, will things kind of ultimately fizzle out between them when they end up splitting? Because it always seems like, oh, they're having a bad time, but then they always come back and end up being stronger than ever. They're like, okay, well, we're together, and we're hanging tight through it all. Probably one of my favorite parts of the episode is the whole Mickey situation. That hotel lady was so on to him. She's like putting on her makeup, and she's like, "Oh, I'll drive you to your family," asking all these questions, and then stops. And then she's like pushing the seat back. He's like, "Oh, you want to take a nap?" He already knew where it was going. He was just like, "Oh yeah, you want me to drive for a while? You want to rest your eyes?" She's like, and then she starts, I guess, I don't have to guess, I saw it. She took off her panties. I was like, "Oh my God, this is definitely going there." And she's like, "It's not going to lick itself." And it's just like, you see Mickey just kind of like, how the hell can I get myself out of this damn situation? Because interestingly enough, like, because she's an older lady, who knows, she's probably not necessarily, but she might be closer to Mickey's age. We've never seen him with a woman closer to his age, an older woman. He's always with women, maybe 40s or younger. Like, it's never like an older lady. It's usually like some very attractive, slightly middle-aged women, middle to younger age women, probably anywhere between late 20s to like early 40s is as high as it goes. Because I honestly don't know how. I'd say early 40s because Claudette, Daryl's mom. So, I mean, granted, they never hooked up afterwards. But she still looked good, and you could tell, Mickey realized that too. So it was just kind of I don't know, like, I just thought that was, and we see that he finally went through it, and she's like, "Oh, call me again whenever you get a chance." Just kind of like, oh, poor Mickey. He just looks so defeated and disgusted. Like, how do I get out of this situation? I feel bad for the lady, because she like really had a thing for her. She found him very attractive. So sadly, the feeling wasn't mutual. I like the fact is that, what happened with the whole Abby situation. Like I said, she wasn't into like dealing with, like, she didn't want to like have any treatment or whatever, but Ray had Lena contact her ex. That was very interesting. She's a breast cancer specialist, talked to Abby, they got a little drunk, went to like a strip club or whatever, and, kind of talked her into it, because she's basically like, "Yo, feel my breast," and everything, and kind of convinced Abby, after they made out a little bit. And it's just like, wow. Like, the fact that she was always saying, like, "Yeah, I'm lucky, I'm glad that I'm here, I get to be beside such a hot lady." It's like, wow, she is flirting hard with you, Abby. And it's like, don't tell me she starts making, and the moment I could even like finish that thought, she starts making out with Abby. I'm like, whoa. I did love later on when she tells that to Ray. She's like, "I touched her breast, and she, like, we kissed. She kissed me on the lips." And Ray was like, "Wow, that plan backfired." I really like that. But she was able to convince Abby to, like, stay alive, make her realize it's like, yo, like, you can sit here and deny it, but this is real. And it's like, she was basically saying, I wouldn't have gone through with it if I didn't have a doctor that was there to kind of kick my tail and tell me to, go do it. And then the last time we see is her and Lena making out. Because Lena had said, like, she had broken up, not that the lady had broken up with her, so. I'm very interested to see where that's go. Like none of like we never really get too many sides of Lena's relationships. We saw her with that lady. Was that season 1 where she was with that lady and she was having an affair? In the last, like the first time we saw the lady, I mean, I think we saw pictures and like that some nudes that she had sent to Lena, something like that. Some calling her on the phone like that. But the only time we really saw her was when Lena went to her office and punched her in the face. Lena's not had, like, out of anyone, she's had the least successful relationships that we know of. I mean, we don't know what happened prior to the show starting, so, I'd like to see her in kind of a, happy relationship. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to get back together, but maybe it's kind of like a, hey, we're here together, we're drunk, let's make some things happen, so. We also had Terry convincing Damien, the boy from last episode, the one he wants to bring to the boxing club, brought him back. He's training a little bit with Daryl, so curious to see where that goes. I feel like they're setting that storyline up for something. Maybe it's to kind of give Terry something to do with his life, because the whole church thing didn't work out for him. So maybe it's like giving Terry trying to find his purpose, and he's like, yo, I'm going to train this kid. He's going, like, he's already got the skills. He's got this. I mean, he's rough around the edges, but he's got the speed. He's got the talent. So I'm going to give him a chance. Maybe it'll be like Terry's way of being like, yo, he's kind of like a son to me. You kind of have that relationship because he's never really had that with anybody. Kind of have a family of his own to a certain degree. So I'm just overall a very good episode. I'm very interested to see where everything goes. Just curious to see where everything goes, where all these different storylines goes, because it's like something might be a, minor storyline in the background. It's like, oh, that's not going to go anywhere, but it ends up leading somewhere else. I almost completely forgot about the whole Marisol and Hector thing, because, they were hooking up, like Hector OD'd, and Ray was over there lucky enough to save him, and it's just like, yo, you're going to end up dying. You're sitting here with Marisol, she's going to be the death of you. And what about your daughter? Do you even, are you trying to kill yourself? It's like, like we see that like Hector's just getting more and more unraveled. We see maybe there is a part of him that knows like Marisol is a bit destructive, but he just can't let her go. So I'm very interested to see where that goes. Like that was kind of like a smaller storyline, but it's something that, it started off like kind of a big plot point and it's kind of like falling to the background a little bit, but I think it's going to be one of those storylines that ends up causing waves. Like it's what I like about the show so much is it's like even something in the background, a storyline that's in the background can easily influence the main plot that's like being developed. It's kind of like, oh, all storylines kind of converge. It's like you may not see where you're like, oh, how's this storyline going to converge with this one? It's just you won't see it coming, but it's just going to take one small thing to like connect them all together. So, no, very interesting, very good episode. But that's really all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.